have to spend a couple minutes talking about the Bill Belichick interview at North Carolina that we discussed in the last segment with the very plugged-in Brett McMurphy, America's college football insider over at the Action Network. Brett confirming the report from inside Carolina in the 24/7 Sports umbrella that Belichick has interviewed at North Carolina. And in the minutes that followed, literally during the break, we have a couple more reports. This is from Andrew Carter, reporter for the News and Observer locally in the Carolinas. Quote, source confirms the Inside Carolina report that Bill Belichick interviewed for Carolina's head coaching vacancy. Quote, he blew them away in the interview. I am told Belichick's interest is high and genuine, but extremely unlikely to happen due to his age, 72, and lack of college experience. Now, this comes courtesy of Brian Fisher, who works for Sports Illustrated. Bill Belichick has been in discussions with North Carolina for several days and has a genuine interest in coaching in college, sources tell Pat Forty and Albert Breer of SI. There's like an onion, man. A lot of layers to get through here, and some of them honestly make me cry. The first is, I guess it's possible. There are a couple different possibilities here, right? I don't have to be right. I think I'm right about what I'm going to say. It's possible that Belichick, my friend, that he's using these college interviews as a way to leverage NFL teams to give him more money, to get an NFL job. It's possible that that's the case. My gut tells me, and I can be wrong, I think I'm right, is that Bill thinks he's not getting an NFL job again. That it's not happening. That it's done for him. Didn't happen this past offseason. He thought he was getting the Falcons job. They hired Raheem Morris instead. It strikes me as weird that Bill Belichick would use North Carolina as a way to, spur Shad Khan to give him an open checkbook to coach the Jacksonville Jaguars next season. Maybe, I acknowledge that maybe that could be the case. It seems very unlikely. And honestly, that makes me sad. It makes me sad if Bill Belichick's done in the National Football League, because I have said this for years on the show, as someone that's been watching the NFL for almost 4 decades. Before Bill Belichick was the greatest head coach of all time, he's the greatest defensive coordinator of all time. Game plan for Super Bowl 25 against the Buffalo Bills literally resides in the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton. This is arguably, maybe even inarguably, the greatest football coach that's ever lived. And maybe he really does want to go coach in college and would go coach at North Carolina. To me, that's a little sad. And maybe for him, he's happy, and I shouldn't feel this way, but something would feel off about that. Like Bill Belichick coaching in college football, given his wealth of success and million Super Bowl rings coaching in the National Football League. So if it's true that Bill's interest is genuine, if that's true, this is from Andrew Carter again. I want to read the end of his tweet. It would be extremely unlikely to happen, Bill at North Carolina, due to Bill's age and lack of college experience. If Bill Belichick wants to coach at North Carolina, and North Carolina says, thanks but no thanks, honestly, burn the school to the ground. I'm being facetious. Don't do that. But, they should fold the football program. The program should not exist anymore. If any, and I'm not talking Georgia with Kirby Smart or Oregon with Dan Lanning. That's not what this conversation is. If Bill Belichick wants to coach your school in college, you let him coach your team. This is not the old days in college football. You can build a super team in 1 year. Remember when Pat Riley signed LeBron James? What the famous story is that LeBron went in there and Riley laid his NBA championship rings on the table. What do you think and I'm not insulting 18-year-old. I was 18 once. If I were 18 and I was going to play in college football and I went to Bill Belichick's office at North Carolina and he lays his Super Bowl rings out there on the table, you don't think that's going to move the needle? You don't think all the money Bill Belichick's made, all the wealthy people he knows, he can't get NIL money to get the best of the best in North Carolina? The greatest football coach ever can't coach up North Carolina or some other college football team to be a top 10, top 5 team in year 1 in college football? I don't care how old he is. This isn't like he's losing it. We watch him on TV every week. He's got his fastball. He's still got his mental fastball. We all have watched as a country people out there older octogenarians, septuagenarians losing their fastball. Bill's throwing 99. He's still got it. And who cares if he's 72? Coaches the team for 3 seasons, bring you to relevance. How's it going to Colorado with Deion Sanders? Really? No to Bill Belichick? Really? I can't imagine that that's the case. Bill wants to coach in college. He getting a job in college. Again, I hope that doesn't happen. I want to see him on an NFL sideline. I want to see him chasing Don Shula's record for most wins. Bill belongs in the National Football League, and that's not for me to say, right? Candidly. Maybe he, in his heart of hearts, is like, you know what? I want a different challenge. I want to go win a natty in college. I've got all the Super Bowls. I don't need, I've tripled Don Shula's Super Bowl rings. I don't need the wins record. Let me try and win a natty in college. Maybe that's what he wants to do. And if so, God bless him. Good luck and Godspeed. But part of me, it makes me a little sad thinking about that. If Bill's never going to coach in the NFL again. And just man, unless you've got Kirby, unless you've got Lanning, unless you've got Sark, unless you've got one of these great coaches in college football, Bill Belichick calls you and you don't hire him, you are an absolute fool.